And there you have President Trump speaking at a rally in Pennsylvania tonight. It is just one place Republicans hope that they'll be able to win in the 2026 midterms. Another key state next year could be Texas. Texas has not elected a Democrat to the Senate since 1988. Tonight, Representative Jasmine Crockett is hoping voters in the Lone Star State will choose her not just to represent Democrats, but ultimately win in the 2026 midterms. Tonight, we want to welcome Representative Crockett back to the show. Thank you so much for your time, Congresswoman.
It's good to see you.
So Republicans have not lost a statewide office in more than 30 years in Texas. Senator John Cornyn, a likely Republican opponent in this race, said about you getting into the race, quote, "Am I hiding my glee? I'll try to wipe the smile off of my face. I would say it's a gift." President Trump also said it's a gift for Republicans. Why do you think you can buck the trend here and be the first Democrat to win in 3 decades?
Well, let me tell you something. They're not really good at the game of poker if this is how they play. If they are truly gleeful, then it seems like they would not express their glee until we actually got through the primary. Just so that they know, in case they didn't know, because I know that John Cornyn is going to have a very long primary ahead of him because it looks like he's headed into a runoff. Our primary isn't for 84 days. So if they were truly happy and they really wanted me to be the nominee, they probably would be quiet about me. And that's what they've been about my opponent. Let me tell you something. They want people to believe that I'm someone that can't win. But the reality is that you made it very clear. They've not won in 30 years with a Democrat in the state of Texas, and they've not tried it with a Democrat like me. A lot of times it's been a matter of, you know what, let's try to go and get those crossover votes and things like that. Well, Texas has one of the lowest voter turnout states. It's one of the lowest voter turnout states in the country. I plan to change that. I plan to excite the base and get people to show up, in addition to making sure that I can point out when they are doing nothing but distract, like that clip that you just played of the president, where he doesn't want to talk about his atrocious record as it relates to the economy. As people are projecting that we are potentially going into a depression, he is talking about sports. The last time that we needed to elect a president to decide which girls and boys were going to play where, I don't know that that was ever one of the assignments of the president, but making sure he didn't crash the economy, it is one of the assignments. And right now he's failing. And I think that it's so important that we make sure that families continue to understand who is hurting them, whether it's healthcare, housing, jobs, childcare. We need to make it clear who it is that is inflicting that harm and who it is that will not stand up for them and won't be Texas tough. And let me tell you, I will always stand up against anybody that comes for the people of Texas.
You said that you're going to excite the base. How are you going to do that? You know, Beto O'Rourke, many moons ago, felt that he had that excitement. He, of course, fell short in the Senate. Colin Allred fell by 9 points to Ted Cruz running. What makes you think that you'll be different?
Yeah, so I'm very excited that you brought up these races because we absolutely studied not only the current numbers and the current trends, not only from our poll, but third-party polls. We also looked back at history. We looked at those exit polls. And one of the things that we noticed is that Beto O'Rourke, who is a progressive, so I don't think this is about progressive versus moderate, to be perfectly honest, Beto O'Rourke actually did better. Now, what were we looking at? We were looking at someone who was pretty much disliked nationally. I can say for sure that depending on who comes out, we may have a nominee that's not even known nationally. So that's number one. Number two, what we know about Beto O'Rourke is that he earned over 65% of the Latino vote, as well as approximately 90% of the African-American vote. What we know from all of the trends and all of the polls that we've researched is that I was performing best with African-Americans and Latinos as it relates to this particular primary. So I think that we run up those numbers. I think that we run up those numbers past 90% with African-Americans, and I think that we bring new people in. We specifically did something that is not normally done in a poll. We wanted to see if we could talk to people that were registered voters, but for whatever reason had not voted here recently. And we asked them specifically, if this person, or this person were on the ballot, would you be more inclined to vote? And if so, would that be voting for that person or against that person? And the numbers were clear as well, that a lot of people that have tuned out politics, they were saying that they would be more inclined to vote if it were me. The final point that I'll make is that a lot of people talk about my communication skills, but I will tell you that what has really broken through is just someone who doesn't seem like there are pundits or some sort of staffers or something that are telling me what to say, but instead I speak from my heart. And just like we've seen Mondami Trump voters, we've seen AOC Trump voters, we've seen Obama Trump voters, I think that we've been missing the mark and that people are voting for who it is that they trust. And I think that I have built a rapport with the American people. And I think that there are a lot of people, I've heard it on the road and the numbers show it as well, that are saying, you know what, if it's you, I trust you. And so I think that we're going to be able to turn people out.
Until yesterday, Colin Allred was running for the Senate seat. He says that you spoke with him on the phone and called the conversation professional and friendly. Then a few hours later, he did drop out. I'm sure you can't reveal exactly, but can you just give us an idea of what that conversation was like?
What I'll tell you is exactly what he told you. Listen, Colin and I have known each other prior to either one of us actually serving on the federal level, prior to us ever being in elected office. What most people don't know is that I started my political career in East Texas. And what it was is I was a county party chair. Back then, Colin had worked on various campaigns. He worked on the Hillary campaign. He had worked on a gubernatorial campaign. And so we had been in touch. And it's because we have been doing the work in the streets. And so we've known each other and we've been friends prior to us working together. And, you know, I had told people that I would call both of the people in the race if I felt like I was potentially going to enter. And I can tell you that everyone knows that Colin Allred is a football player. I can tell you that he's a team player. I can tell you that, you know, at the end of the day, what I believe both of us are trying to do is make sure that we do what we can do to make sure that we flip Texas. And I absolutely believe that we will continue to work together to make sure that we get that done.
Win in Texas, as you know, you're likely going to need to appeal to voters who cast their ballot for Trump in 2024. What specifically is your message to those voters?
Tell me why that's the talking point that I guess they've sent around to all of y'all. Here's the reality, right? Texas had maybe 51% of its voters turn out, 51%. So maybe we should talk about the other 49% that did not turn out, right? And so that's where our main focus will be. Now, here is the reality. We have seen, whether we look in Georgia, which is a red state that's starting to look more and more purple every single day. We saw 2 statewide wins on November 4th. We also saw that in Mississippi, they were able to flip 2 Senate seats to Democrats. Today, we just saw down in Miami that they just flipped a mayoral seat that has been held by Republicans for the last 30 years. We just saw the other week in Tennessee, deep red Tennessee, where a seat that Trump had won by over 22 points, that came within single digits. So let me tell you something. Either more people are deciding to get involved, or what we have is that we have people that are saying, you know what, we made a mistake. He wasn't the one that was actually going to take care of us. Either way, anyone who wants to talk about affordability, wants to talk about how it is that their kids are going to be able to access education, wants to talk about what it looks like to have a job opportunity or to be able to get the funding so that you can start your own business, wants to talk about what it looks like to actually be able to save your farm or your ranch, I am here for you. That is the conversation. Honestly, I don't think that this is a partisan conversation. This comes down to people literally wanting to survive in this country. That it is life or death right now. And those are the conversations that we're going to have. And anyone who voted for him and decides, you know what, we want to vote for Jasmine now because Jasmine is vowing that she is going to make sure that things are more affordable. She's vowing to make sure that we have access to education and health care, and I want that for me and my family, then I'll be your candidate. I don't think that it's a time for us to kind of say, well, it's a D or R or get into all of that, because where's that gotten us? It's not gotten us to a great place, as people are saying that they believe that we may be hitting Great Depression numbers soon.
And Congressman, just with about 30 seconds left, if you win, of course, you'd be serving in the Senate under Chuck Schumer. Are you confident in his leadership?
Listen, you're saying that, now I don't know how votes go. I assume that we're going to get a vote every Congress for who is going to be the leader of the Senate. And I absolutely defer to those that are currently in the Senate to have conversations about what is best for us. Listen, if Chuck throws his hat in there, his hat in the ring, I believe that that's because he knows that he has the support of the caucus. I don't remember when they've actually had a contested race for this particular position in recent times. So with that being said, listen, I'm just ready to work together. I'm not trying to divide. We've had enough division. That's how we ended up with Donald Trump. I am ready to work with anyone that wants to work, whether they're a Democrat or a Republican. And frankly, that is why up until now, me and Senator Cornyn have always had a friendly relationship. It's because when it came down to it, we were able to set aside our differences and work on legislation on behalf of Texans. And that's exactly what I plan to do.
Congresswoman Crockett, we thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.